election and what kind of job I do as president. I mean, I think we've got a narrow window to solve some really big problems. I think if we don't solve climate change now, I'm not sure it gets solved. The scientists don't think it gets solved. I mean, we're getting to that tipping point where it's going to be a real problem. If we don't deal with our isolation from the world now and repair our relationships around the world and directly address the Muslim world in a way that isn't naive, understands that there are going to be, you know, a handful of folks who just want to blow us up, but that there are 1.3 billion Muslims that we can reason with and work with. If we don't solve that now, I think that we could have disaster on our hands. If we don't solve our fiscal problems now, if we don't get universal health care passed, Medicare and Medicaid will bankrupt the system. It is already bankrupting the system. We just are pretending that it isn't. We've got $50 trillion worth of outstanding liabilities. That's with a T. And, you know, the math just doesn't work if you've got, you know, not only an aging population, but on top of that, 10% healthcare inflation. So the only way to intelligently solve Medicare and Medicaid in our looming fiscal crisis is if we reduce healthcare inflation to a manageable 2 to 3%. And the only way you do that is if you get everybody into a system and you start providing preventive care and you start dealing with improving quality and rationalizing the system and reducing the profiteering inside the system. If you don't do that, your generation is going to be broke. So my hope is that we solve enough problems now. Now, you don't solve them completely, but I think the challenge of a president is to, you know, America is a big ocean liner, and what you want to do is just avoid the iceberg and start getting on the right trajectory. And it may seem like smaller changes now, but you project out 20, 30 years, you're in a completely different place. And that, I think, is the task of the next president. Okay?
What are the chances, do you think, of getting the big money, if you're president, really getting the big money out of the process? Because without that, I don't think you're going to be able to nudge the
well,
cruise one way or the other.